Drop it low, girl. Drop it low, girl. Drop it low, girl. Drop it low, girl. Drop it low, girl.
All right, we're actually doing a squat informational video today. This is inspired by a couple different reasons. I've noticed an ever-growing growth and popularity of this exercise, both for men and women. I think it's partially for women just for the fact that they see these fitness girls on Instagram or what have you that, emphasize that they squat and that they have awesome glutes, or also known as an ass, because they perform this exercise. So I've seen a lot more females actually, in squat racks and trying to work on their squats, which is good. It's actually, good for overall health and good for potentially getting more girls into lifting weights. But there's a few things I kind of just want to talk about. One being form, two being different variations that I use, and three just kind of being rep ranges, which is kind of a personal preference, but I'll kind of talk about mine. Quick story about how I started truly squatting. I didn't really do conventional barbell squats until about 2 years ago. My brother and I actually did a powerlifting competition together, which we were only planning to deadlift. Later found out that we had to do all three lifts. So all three lifts is the deadlift, the squat, and the bench press. So I was actually really humbled by this event because I realized that my squat was like a true squat, correct form, all that, was really only at like 135. So after that, I've been like determined to try to get better at squats. And as you can see right now in the video, I can put up 2 plates for, on a good day, probably about 6, I would say, which is definitely better for me. If you look at the video actually right now, you'll kind of see that I'm doing a couple different things. One, I'm going parallel. So what's exactly does parallel mean? And that's kind of where your thighs are parallel with the ground. So in essence, your thighs and your legs create almost like a 90-degree angle. Occasionally you'll see me go past parallel, but for the most part, I try to go parallel. 2, I like to keep all my weight on my heels. So I try to explode up with my heels. It's very important for power, and it's very important for just not getting hurt. If your weight is more on your toes, your knees will come forward as you perform this exercise, and your knees will go over kind of where your toes are, and it could cause you to blow out your knee or some other severe injuries that come along with it. But that's another important tip as far as form. 3, definitely try to keep your back arched up. I notice with myself that when I go low heavier, my back kind of does start to kind of bow in my upper back. And I mean, that's kind of natural when I go heavy, but I really try to work on it. It's kind of a work in progress for me. I guess the second thing to talk about is variation. So personally, I like to do just regular barbell squats. As you can see going on the video right now, these are pause squats where I pause for like 2 seconds at the bottom of the exercise. And on the way up, I really try to focus on squeezing my hamstrings and my glutes. And then another exercise that I've really started using a lot is dumbbell squats, which I rarely ever see anybody doing these, but I like them for a couple different reasons. I always try to get a unilateral type of lift. Unilateral meaning that I use like dumbbells so that the weight's evenly distributed. And I notice I can keep really good form when I do this, and I think it's really good for me at the end of my workout when I'm really tired. And this particular day, I believe I went a little heavier, but as you can see in this slow motion, I'm getting parallel with the ground, my weight's on my heels, and I'm trying to keep my back arched up. It's kind of, with the dumbbells, it's a little harder not to curve at the top, but I definitely think it's something that I can work on and something that people should really consider when performing this exercise. There's other variations that have been discussed, such as front squats, where you put actually the barbell on almost like your frontal delt area, It's good for me. As far as weight goes, I suck at it, and I have to definitely check my ego every time I perform it. But it's definitely a good exercise. I've been probably incorporating it maybe once a week. Personally, I do hit legs twice a week, with only really about total volume on a leg day for quads and hamstrings is probably only about 14 sets or so. So it's not too much volume going on, but my rep range is changing all the time. There'll be days where I'll do like more of like a power day, and I'll go for rep ranges between 3 and 5. And then there'll be other days where I'll just say, let's just put on, a plate and do 3 sets of 25. It's kind of all personal preference and what you find that your legs or glutes and hamstrings or calves or what have you respond with the most. Like I said, with me, I think that switching it up is good for me. Exercises like leg extensions and leg press, I normally do higher rep ranges, but squats, I normally do lower rep ranges. So it's kind of all up to you. But I hope this video helps you to at least begin trying to squat and adding this into your training regimen.